Why, hello there. I'm Sin. We are in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. What I've finished, what I'm in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. Okay, so recently I finished this book called Strange Pictures by Uketsu. And if you've never heard of Uketsu, I hadn't either until I randomly stumbled on this book at the library. And then I looked more into the author, and no one knows who they are. They're completely anonymous. They appear online and they wear a mask and have a voice changer. So it made it even all the more intriguing. And it's like a Japanese horror sensation. And so this book was about like all these different short stories, but they all intertwine and tangle together in like different time frames of what happened. And it's horror and it's weird and it's twisted and it's effed up, and I absolutely loved it. I loved how it was written. The flow of the writing was fantastic. I love how it was entangled. I keep notes because, I'm going to talk about this stuff in my videos. Usually it's just like key taglines, so I'll remember key points and whatnot. But like that book, I had to write a lot of stuff down just to like figure out the time frames. Like the time frames was the only thing that I would get a little confused on for the characters, because you're going back and forth and how everything like kind of wraps around and comes almost full circle of how like all this weird and horrific stuff that happens in it. And I absolutely loved it, and I want to read more by this author. There's another book they have that I can't think of what it's called right now. So I thought it was great if you like horror. So currently, I'm in the middle of, not really even in the middle, I just started The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. I'm about 60 pages in. It is weird, it is rambly, and it might be aliens. We don't know. At least I don't know. I mean, it's probably aliens. We'll find out as we get deeper into this book. Yeah, I love Stephen King. I'm slowly working my way through his books in no particular order. I kind of like, after reading The Dark Tower, I wanted to get into more books that had like a tie-in to The Dark Tower. And I know technically all his books tie into The Dark Tower, but some more than others. Not necessarily The Tommyknockers. This one I just came across when I was at a secondhand bookstore. And then I love paranormal stuff and stuff with like stories about aliens and cryptids and all sorts of stuff like that. So I decided this is going to be one of my fall reads. So I started that one. This is when I'll probably kind of like read some and then read other books in between, because it is another honker. It's a honker. It's a chonker. It's a king-sized book. Huh, how appropriate that his last name is King and the book is king-size because it's so freaking large. Anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. This is a book that has been known that it was a cocaine-fueled written book that King wrote. Am I seeing some of like the rambliness? I am, but I also enjoy that. Like maybe some people think it's over-descripted and a lot could be just, cut down, but I sometimes like that. I like the worlds it creates. I like how much you get into the character's head. You see through their eyes, and not all authors can do that, and that's something I really love about King. He can really give you a character where you like feel that character and you're like, dang, yeah, like the thought processes and the tics that they have and like the vices and the addictions and all the stuff. Probably going to read more of that later tonight. Okay, so stuff I'm going to get into. The first thing, I've had it on hold at the library, I think ever since I heard of it and then it showed up in the library system, because I love this author. She writes the best horror romance, or as I like to say, homance, and that is The Possession of Albedias by Isabel Cañas. Sorry, this is really, really shiny. I loved The Hacienda. I loved The Vampires of El Norte. Like, am I a fangirl? Maybe. This will be my third book once I've read this one by this author. Let's tell you what it's about. Story time with Sin. Let's go. In 1765, plague sweeps through Zacatecas. Alba flees with her wealthy merchant parents and fiancé Carlos to the family's isolated mine for refuge. But safety proves fleeting as other dangers soon bare their teeth. Alba begins suffering from strange hallucinations, sleepwalking, and violent convulsions. She senses something cold lurking beneath her skin. Something angry, something wrong. Elphus, haunted by a troubled past, came to the New World to make his fortune and escape his family's legacy of greed. Alba, to his cousin's betrothed, is none of his business. Which is, of course, why he can't help but notice the growing tension between them every time she enters the room, and why he notices her deteriorate when the demon's thirst for blood gets stronger. In the fight for her life, Elba and Elphus become entangled with the occult, the church, long-kept secrets, and each other, not knowing that one of these things will spell their doom. And I can't wait to get into this. I'm super excited. Cannot wait. The Possession of Elbadias. Let's go. Okay, so next up, we have a random book that I got at the library that I thought sounded interesting called The Safekeep by Yael Vanderwooden. And this one, let me tell you a little bit about it. A house is a precious thing. It is 1961, and the rural Dutch province of Overijssel, I'm probably butchering that and not saying that right at all, is quiet. Bomb craters have been filled, buildings reconstructed, and the war is well and truly over. Living alone in her late mother's country home, Isabel knows her life is as it should be, led by routine and discipline. But all is upended when her brother Louis delivers his graceless new girlfriend, Ava, at Isabel's doorstep as a guest, there to stay for the season. Ava is Isabel's antithesis. She sleeps late, walks loudly through the house, and touches things she shouldn't. In response, Isabel develops a fury-fueled obsession, and when things start disappearing around the house, a spoon, a knife, a bowl, I mean, maybe they just wanted to eat. I don't know. Spoon, knife, bowl. Isabel's suspicions begin to spiral. In the sweltering heat of summer, Isabel's paranoia gives way to infatuation, leading to a discovery that unravels all she has ever known. The war might not be well and truly over after all, and neither Ava nor the house in which the two women live are what they seem. And it sounds like a mystery, and it sounds fascinating. And like the brother just like left his girlfriend there, and what, he took off? That's what I'm assuming. He's like, you have her. Could have just broke up with her, whatever. Anyways, so we'll see. We'll see how I like that one. I thought it sounded pretty interesting. I find a lot of my reads randomly, especially when I go to the library. Does the cover grab me? Does the title grab me? I pick it up, I'll read the flap. If it sounds interesting, sometimes I'll read the first page to kind of get like a feel if I like the writing. You get a vibe from that first page, the first sentence, the first page, like how it flows. And if I like the first page, then I'll usually pick it up, bring it with me, and we'll see what happens. Some of them super awesome. Some of them, they fall flat. So we'll let you know how this one goes. What have you been reading? Let me know down in the comments. I'm always curious to hear. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.